Hey everyone, today is June 3rd, 2024, and I want to go through more rituals to the number 14 and show you how this number 14 is a reference to the god Osiris, and show you how 9/11, the events of 9/11 are all about the number 14 and all about Osiris. And if you remember a little bit about the mythology of the god Osiris, his brother Set cut Osiris into 14 pieces, and then Osiris's wife Isis had to find the pieces and reassemble him, and she could only find 13 pieces. She couldn't find the 14th piece, which was the phallus, so she had to fashion a golden phallus to complete the 14 pieces of Osiris. And in the myth, we're told that a fish ate the phallus. And I'll show you some connections here to the fish, of course, but 9/11 and this number 14 is all an Osiris ritual, the 14 pieces of Osiris and the phallus. And if you remember, I've done a few videos here on the number 14. A couple months ago I started with the number 14, and one of the things I showed you is the 14th Amendment was made for black people. And I just did this other 14 video showing you it was a cycle of 14 days from the roast of Tom Brady on 5/5 to the death of the president of Iran on 5/19. That was there was 14 days in between those two events, and the connection there is that Tom Brady, he was born on 8/3, and the president of Iran was assumed office on 8/3, and then 9/11 2001 to 6/2 was 8,300 days. That completes our other 14-day cycle. And I'll show you there was a phallus ritual on this day to Osiris. And one of the reasons, we had the roast of Tom Brady, right? It was kind of an Osiris ritual in itself, because he was kind of emasculated, right? He was divorced from his wife, and they made they roasted him and made a lot of fun of him and kind of emasculated him, kind of a phallus ritual with the Osiris and the Tom Brady connection here with the 83. And some other interesting connections here with the fish, because the fish is what ate the phallus. The 14th letter N, the Phoenician letter was named Nun, which meant fish. And if we actually look at the area of the constellations in the sky, the 14th largest constellation is Pisces, right? The twin fish, it's like the twin towers. And if you remember, we'll go through this at the end of the video, but today is the 255th anniversary of the Revelation 12 sign. We'll go through that at the end here, though. But I'm going to show you how 9/11 all has to do with the number 14 and Osiris. Oh, Osiris, also the god of fertility, right? That has to do with our 14th Amendment, right? And the Gateway Park in St. Louis, right? The Gateway Arch Park resembles the female reproductive system, and Osiris was the god of fertility. And the reason we have the 14th Amendment is because of the decision, the Dred Scott decision from this courthouse in St. Louis, right? Our fertility ritual here. So there's more with the Osiris connection. So if we look at 9/11 2001, we were told that the first plane hit at 8:46 a.m. on the South Tower, I believe it was. And we'll go through this as well. There's more 6/2 rituals here, but 8:46 a.m. is the time that we're given for the beginning of 9/11. So the 14 ritual here is we look at the time of 1400. 1400 is 840 minutes into the day, and it leaves 600. So there's our 846. Our Osiris ritual to time and the beginning of 9/11, the falling of the Twin Towers. Of course, on our money, our $1 bill, the 14th level is the Eye of Providence, and it's green, just like the color of the skin of Osiris. And then here's another interesting thing that Bobby Simpson, who's been helping me with this Pegasus and the pentagram count, talked about in that video I did a couple months ago about the number 14, an enemy of the state. If we look at the release of Enemy of the State, which came out on Joe Biden's birthday in 1998, to 3/21/2025, it's 14 Martian years. And that's significant because on 3/22/2025, we begin our 33rd Venus pentagram from the beginning of the pentagram count on 6/3/1769. Right, today is this 255th anniversary of the beginning of this count. But what makes this interesting is that on 3/21, the Venus inferior conjunction will be the last day that it's in Pisces, right, the fish. And on 3/22, it'll move into Pegasus. Kind of rare for Venus to be in Pegasus like that, so far off the ecliptic. And that's going to start our 33rd pentagram point. But just another fish connection, right? Because our fish is what is connected to Osiris and the phallus. So 14 Martian years. Take a look at that real quick with the Darian calendar, the Martian calendar. So November 20th, 1998. And then we'll add our 14 years. March 21st, 2025. 14, a Martian year is 687 days. So another 14, and then another 14 connected to 9/11 is that on 9/11/2015, which was the 14th anniversary, we had a video game called 846 released. And I can leave a link to this in the description. You can watch the beginning of this game on this webpage here. 846, and that's actually where I got this. When I googled 846 in Wikipedia, came up with these 3 different things here for 846. Of course, one connected to George Floyd, because we were told that his neck was kneeled on for 8 minutes 46 seconds. So 846 is associated with police brutality of black people, right? Just like I've been showing you, the 14th Amendment, it was made for black people. Dave Chappelle did a special called 846, and then there's the video game, and then the events of 9/11 began at 8:46 a.m., which is connected to our time of 1400. One of the most popular video games in the world is Fortnite, and Fortnite is, 14 nights. And what's interesting too, if you take a look at the number 14, right? In ordinal gematria and the reduction cipher, it's 104 and 41, kind of like a 1441. But if we remove that U and spell it 14, it's 83 and 38, right? And we just had the 8,300 day anniversary after 9/11 yesterday on 6/2. And we have these 14-day cycles with Tom Brady, 8/3, birth date, President of Iran, 8/3, assumed office. He died in the helicopter crash. And then the June 2nd was the next 14-day cycle. But this 14-day cycle is also from the Bible. It's also from Matthew. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. David, until the carrying away into Babylon, are 14 generations. And the carrying away into Babylon, into Christ, 14 generations. So they show this 14-day cycle, or this 14 cycle in the Bible as well. So this 14, of course, very big. And then on the 1-year anniversary of the events of 9/11, we had this ritual to the Eye of Horus, right? Horus is the son of Osiris, right? So they did this ritual on ground zero, right? And ground zero is a reference, of course, to a nuclear event. And we also have the tribute and light. And the tribute and light had the two blue beams in place of the twin towers. And I showed you guys in several other videos that, you know, there was a blue beam shooting towards the sky during the Chernobyl disaster in Ukraine in 1986. So the blue beam is from Chernobyl as well. And, you know, Chernobyl means wormwood, and wormwood is from Revelation 8:11. And we're told that the mastermind of the events of 9/11 were Osama bin Laden, and he became the first emir of Al-Qaeda on the date of 8/11. So there's definitely an 8/11 and 9/11 connection, and there's an earthquake connection to Revelation 6:12, because the events of 9/11 lasted 6,120 seconds, so a 612 for Revelation 6:12, the great earthquake. I've showed you all this many times before, but just a little refresher there. But the blue beams are from the reports of the Chernobyl event. And then yesterday, being 8,300 days after 9/11 and part of our 14-day cycle, we had this kind of ritual to, a news story ritual to Osiris. There was a cucumber recall in 14 states, right? Salmonella, like salmon is a fish. The fish ate the phallus, and we have the green cucumber because Osiris is green-skinned, right? So there was a recall for the salmonella in 14 states for the cucumber. And then one of my subscribers, Metonic Cycle, he sent me this comment about a fire in Knesset, Jerusalem. There were 14 fire crews firefighting. So there was our 14 rituals for, and it was in the Valley of the Cross. So yesterday on 6/2, we had these rituals to Osiris and to the 14 as well, right? And we had the roast of Tom Brady, right? And a fire erupted. Tom Brady was emasculated, just like the ritual with Osiris and the phallus. So yeah, 9/11, all about Osiris and Horus. The 14 is directly related to the beginning of 9/11 with the 846 and time connection, connected to our money. Okay guys, just want to show you all those connections, and just a reminder, today is the 255th anniversary of the beginning of the pentagram count, and around noon today, Venus will have a superior conjunction. It will be hidden by the sun about noon, 1 o'clock today, something like that. But so we'll kind of look out for some interesting stories, see if there's any stories about Venus or the sun, or any, you know, coded stories that kind of are related to this astronomical event, this superior conjunction. And remember, the inferior conjunction, the transit of Venus, was when Venus passed in front of the sun on 6/3/1769. So we have our anniversary, our retrograde, and then our regular motion with the superior conjunction. Okay guys, just want to show you all that stuff with the 14 and the origin of all the 14s in this 14-day cycle we've been tracking here are all about Osiris and the remembering, the reassembling of Osiris and the phallus of Osiris. Okay guys, thanks for watching.